Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video, we'll be going through part 1 for how to play a Warcry campaign series. Every warband that sets foot upon the blood-soaked lands of the 8 Points has their own ambitions and motives. Narrative play looks to explore the stories of each warband and bring them to life on the battlefield. Although it's fun to play one-off battles of Warcry, for many players the real challenge of the game is to play through a campaign. In a campaign, you chart the progress of your warband across the wastes of the 8 Points towards the Varan Spire, linking each of your battles into an ongoing narrative that tells the story of your warband's rise to glory as you strive to complete your campaign quest. Along the way, some of your fighters may die. After all, life is harsh and unforgiving in the 8 Points, but those who survive will grow in power as they carve out a bloody legend for themselves and your warband. This video series will detail how to play through a Warcry campaign and will break it down from start to finish, covering everything you need to know. This video is the first in the narrative campaign series, and in it we'll cover embarking upon a campaign and campaign quests. We'll use the Core Book, the Catacombs book and the supplement books to look through all the different campaign quests that are available to you. Let's start with embarking upon a campaign. To play through a campaign, you will first need to choose a campaign quest and fill out a warband roster for your warband. Once you have done so, you are ready to challenge any opponent to a campaign battle. In Warcry, the campaign quest you choose for your warband is unique to you and charts the progress of your warband only. This means you can challenge any opponent to a campaign battle so long as they too have chosen a campaign quest and filled out a warband roster. Some players may be part of a group of players that decide to all embark upon a Warcry campaign at the same time and to only challenge those within their group to campaign battles. Other players might play a different opponent each week at their local club or game store. There's no right or wrong way to play through your campaign, and the rules presented here are flexible to cater to the needs of the individual player. Many people like to play Warcry solo, and when it's difficult to meet up with other people to play, playing solo is the only way that we can get our games in, and it is certainly possible for us to play a campaign on our own. When choosing a warband to battle against in solo play, just make sure that that warband meets all the requirements of any warband that would play in a campaign. For example, make sure the warband roster contains the correct number of fighters and the correct number of points, and make sure that those points reflect the different stages of battle. If, for example, you're playing at 1300 points, then it would be probably too easy to pitch yourself against a warband who have only got 1000 points. So try and even it up so that both warbands have equal chance of winning the battles. With solo play becoming more and more popular, I'll make sure to include one video in this series that is dedicated to solo play, and we'll talk about all the things we can do to make a campaign work really well while playing on our own. Before we get to that video, I'll make sure we've gone through all the rules that you need to know to play a narrative campaign, and then once you know those rules, it'll be really easy to play it solo. It'll also make it a lot easier to go through once we know all the rules. Now let's look at campaign quests. At the heart of every Warcry campaign is the quest your warband is striving to achieve. This is referred to as a campaign quest. You can find a whole array of different campaign quests to choose from in the campaign section of the core rulebook, but also in the supplement books that come with Warcry. Each campaign quest has one or more faction rune marks to denote which warbands can embark upon it. The campaign quests in the campaign section have a single faction rune mark, and so choosing a campaign quest often goes hand in hand with choosing which warband you wish to play through the campaign with. In addition, each campaign quest contains the following. Number 1. The territory rules. Each campaign quest has its own territory rules that enable your warband to dominate areas within the 8 points. For the aspiring followers of the Dark Gods, these territory rules allow your warband to raise sinister monoliths and enslave chaotic beasts as thralls. For other warbands, such as the Stormcast Eternals, the territory rules will allow your warband to purge the chaotic taint from the lands and create areas of hallowed ground. The territory rules for each campaign quest are detailed in full upon it. Number 2. Artifacts of Power and Command Trait Tables. Each campaign quest has one table of Artifacts of Power and one table of Command Traits. As your warband progresses, you will be awarded items from these lists at certain points. This is explained in the Aftermath sequence, and we'll go through this in a video later on in the series. Now let's take a look at the campaign section and have a look at the campaign quests, and we'll use the Beasts of Chaos as our example, and we'll go through all the different options for them in the core book, but also in the supplement books. Choose one campaign quest and read through it in detail to give you a good overview of the layout of the campaign quest, what it contains, and then once we've understood that, we can move on to part 2 of the video where we muster our warband. So here we've got the core book, and starting on page 80, this is the campaign section, and this is to be used alongside all the rules we're going to cover in the series. And this section contains all the resources you need to embark upon your warband's quest for glory and power. And on the following pages, you're going to find campaign quests for every faction playable in Warcry. So whatever allegiance you choose, you will brave the deadly wilds of the 8 points and make war upon your rivals, gaining unique skills and artifacts as you spread your influence across the land. As you progress upon your individual story path, you'll come to several critical junctures, each with an exciting, accompanying narrative. Each campaign quest culminates in a thrilling final battle. Should you triumph, you will earn a mighty reward and perhaps even gain the favour of the ever-chosen himself. This section is going to give us all the campaign quests, but in this core book it mostly focuses on the original Warcry warbands. So you can see here we've got the faction rune mark for the various warbands. And this one here is for the Iron Golem, and you can see they're going to get they're going to get 2 campaign quests. Then we've got the Untamed Beasts, and so on. So each warband is going to get 2 campaign quests that can be played from this book. And so let's keep flicking through so you can see all the different ones. And then it's also going to give you some for the Scions of the Flame. You're going to get some for the different warbands here. The Night Haunt, Stormcast, Legions, Gloomspite Gits. But it doesn't cover all the warbands in here. So you're not going to get every single warband in this book. And that's where all the different books come into play and the supplements. But there's a good chance that you're going to play one of these warbands anyway, so the information could be there. But let's look at the other books and the campaign quests that are going to be able to be played by any warband. I started playing Warcry in November 2020, and I picked up the Catacombs box set, so there's a good chance many people started there. And in the Catacombs book, you'll also find some campaign quests, and there's a whole campaign section there. And this section is mostly guided towards the Khainite Shadowstalkers, and so as they're included in the box set, you're going to get 4 campaign quests for the Khainite Shadowstalkers, and you're going to get 2 for the Scions of the Flame. So they've already got some in the original core book, so they've only done 2 for the Scions. But they've also included this section called Fated Quests, and this opens up quests to any warband. So for these ones, any warband from any alliance can play them. And in this book you're going to get 4. The first one's the Obsidian Tower, then the Spawn Master, the Orb of Secrets, and then this one takes you into the Catacombs, And the Trail of Destruction, another Catacombs quest. So you'll notice that these are called fated quests, but they are just the same. They're still a campaign quest, but they're just calling them fated quests. And this is how they refer to them in all of the supplement books. So those are the quests you can choose from the Catacombs book, but now let's look at some other books. As I'll be using the Beasts of Chaos throughout this video series as the warband as an example to show you how to set up the campaign and play it, I'm going to use the Agents of Chaos book, and I'm going to choose one of the campaign quests from here. And you can see there's a whole section on campaign quests, and again they're calling them fated quests, but they're exactly the same. And with these, it's going to give us another 4. So we're going to get Crimson Bounty, we're going to get the Grand Plague of Vetch, we're going to get Fit for a King, and we're going to get Beneath Shadowed Boughs. And these are going to include mostly the terrain from the above ground, but you can see it's geared at the terrain from the Catacombs set. So those are the ones included in the Agents of Chaos book, and any warband from the Alliance of Chaos can play those ones. If you don't play Chaos, but you play Death, Destruction or Order, then you'll find exactly the same setup in these books. So if we have a look in the contents page here, we've got the fated quests for all the warbands in the Alliance of Death, and on page 44 it's going to lay out again another 4 campaign quests or fated quests that you can play with any warband from the Alliance of Death. And you'll find exactly the same in the Harbingers of Destruction and the Sentinels of Order. So whichever warband you play, there's going to be a book and a supplement book with even more fated quests in for you. Another book you can look at is the Monsters and Mercenaries, and this is somewhat outdated now, especially with the Warcry supplement books for the different alliances. But in here, there is a section with fated quests, and you're going to find 4 fated quests that again you can use for any warband. So there's so much content here that you can use, and this is covering some terrain from some of the expansion sets that came out. So you can see there's lots there, lots of content to choose from. And that's the Monsters and Mercenary book. We also have the Tome of Champions 2019, and again we have a section on fated quests, but this time it's going to have 8, so there's going to be a lot more in there to play, and this is going to include terrain from all different terrain sets, from the original set, the Catacombs, and some of the expansions. So there's loads to go on in here, and again with these 8 fated quests, these are all going to be able to be played by any warband from any alliance. So that's the Tome of Champions 2019. Now we also have the Tome of Champions 2020, and again this is going to give us 8 fated quests that can be played by any warband from any of the alliances. And so we're going to get 8 different ones with a nice selection of terrain from all the different sets. And this is the most recent one, and this includes some of the terrain and the boards from the Catacombs set. So you can include that there. So this is a nice one, and also some of the extra Catacombs boards that you can buy separately. And again, these are all for any warbands. So that's the Tome of Champions 2020, and that's the final supplement book that contains the fated quests. On top of these fated quests, the Tome of Champions also has even more narrative play options, and this is all centered around Soroth Core, the Silent City. So this is a great book if you really want to delve into a really deep narrative. I mean, look at all the information they're giving you here. It's so packed with it here. And this is for a Soroth Core campaign. I'm not going to cover this in the series, but just be aware it exists, and if it's something you want to look into, then it's in here. And I'm sure I'll be covering this as we go forward throughout the year, going through as much of the campaigns and battles and different sections of the books as we can. So that's in there if you want to take a look, but we won't cover that in the series. So this is a lot of books here, and you really don't need all of these. I mean, I'm going to just take from the Agents of Chaos book and then use the Core Book and the Catacombs book. And unless you wanted to play from different warbands, you certainly don't need those. You're going to get loads of information here. And each one of those fated quests or campaign quests is going to contain 11 battles. So even if you play 1 or 2 battles a week, it's going to take you quite some time to finish the campaign. And at each stage, you may not pass the convergence, so you may have to play that again. So there's just so many weeks here of gameplay. If you bought every one and wanted to play every single Fated quest, then you'll be playing for a long time. So yeah, there's a lot going on here, but don't be overwhelmed. I would just say stick with the core book and the Catacombs, and perhaps pick up one of the supplement books for the alliance that you like to play. Just flicking back to the core book, you'll notice that it's mostly focused on those original warbands. And now, if you buy just the warband set, you're not going to have many miniatures in there to take you up to 1400 points, so you're going to have to get some more. And these are really geared towards encouraging you to use the beasts and thralls in your warband to make up those points. Whereas when you start getting into the kind of Age of Sigmar, let's have a look. Here we go, like the Nighthaunt. Then making 1400 points to them is going to be a lot easier because there's a lot more miniatures available. You can double up and get 2 sets, or get the, for the Corvus Cabal, you could get the Age of Sigmar set that includes 2 of every miniature, but then you're going to have, not too much variety. So if you want lots of variety with your fighters, I would say pick a warband from the original ones and then use the Chaotic Beasts, or choose one of the Age of Sigmar ones, and then you're going to get a lot more variety. Now, if you choose one of the Age of Sigmar warbands that's not included in any of the Fated quests here, then you're not really going to be able to play the ones from the core book. So just be aware of that when choosing your warband, especially when you're starting off. It'd be better to use some miniatures you already have, perhaps. But if you did pick up the Catacombs set, you are going to get those 4 Fated quests included that can be played with any warband whatsoever. So if you've got that set, then that opens up many more options to you. Now you've seen all the books that are available to you and all the Fated quests that you can play, let's focus on the Agents of Chaos, and I've picked out one called Fit for a King, and this kind of fits in with a good Fated quest that I think would be fun for the Beasts of Chaos to play. So we'll just have a quick work through this to give you an overview, but as we go through the series, we're going to cover all the details in this Fated quest in great detail, and we'll cover everything you need to know. But for now, just a quick overview, just to give you an idea of the layout and what it contains. You'll see here at the top that we get a rune mark, and this would usually be for a faction rune mark, but this one is for Chaos, so we know that any warband from the Alliance of Chaos can play this Fated quest. And it starts off with a map and a brief introduction and overview, just to let you know what the Fated quest is all about. And it's really cool how they can sum it up in just these 2 small paragraphs and let you know exactly what it contains. And then along here, it's got all the different points you'll battle, and these are all the territories and the final, second and first convergences. And so you'll work your way through here, getting all the way to the end. And then once you've done those 12 battles and completed each one successfully, then you will succeed in the campaign. Each Fated quest will also have a table for the Artifact of Power and the command trait, and again we're going to cover those in videos in the series. And then it gives you your first convergence, your second and your final. And for these convergence battles, it lays out your battle plan, your deployment, victory and twist, and you see it's got the terrain set up, so it tells you exactly how to set up. And you also get a little bit of narrative specific to that battle, so you get that for the first, second and final convergences. The final section in a Fated quest is the campaign outcome, and if the warband is the winner and you complete the campaign quest, then you get to choose between honour and glory. Again, we'll cover this in detail, but when you choose honour or glory, there'll be 2 tables, and this gives you the outcome and you can claim your reward. So if we just quickly flick to that to give you an idea, you'll get 2 tables here, and then you can choose your reward. And we'll go through exactly how that works as we play through the campaigns and go through all the rules. That brings us to the end of this video, part 1 of the narrative campaign series, and now we know how to embark on a campaign and choose our campaign quest. Come and join me for part 2, where we'll go through a really fun part of the campaign process, where we put together our warband and we'll go through the warband roster. Thanks for watching. I really hope this video was helpful. You can find the next episode in the series at the end of this video, and also a link to the playlist where you can go right through from part 1 right through to the end and find out everything you need to know to play a Warcry narrative campaign. I'll put links in the description below to all the things we've used during this series, and links to the Catacombs set, the different warbands we've used, the dice and the card sets. There'll be affiliate links to Element Games, but they won't cost you anything extra. In fact, they could save you up to 20%, and for every sale made through an affiliate link, I get a small commission, and that's going to help me develop the channel. So thanks so much for that support. I really appreciate it. If you like the channel and the content I put out and would like to support it further, please take a look at my Patreon page. It's a really great community where we meet on Discord to share our hobby, join in with different conversations around different aspects of the game, and a great place to hang out. You can also find perks on there that you're just not going to get anywhere else, and it'd be awesome to see you there on Patreon, and I'll put the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.